You hear the word cybersecurity thrown around all the time, right? But what does it actually look like on the front lines, day to day? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're diving deep inside a sophisticated security console called ShieldOS to see how modern threats are actually fought moment by moment. First, to really get a handle on the battlefield, you have to understand the sheer scale of it. Every single day, an estimated 3.4 billion malicious phishing emails get sent. Not per year, per day. That is the constant, massive storm that our digital defenses have to face down. And that leads to the fundamental challenge, right? In that absolute sea of digital noise, how do you find the shark? This isn't just about finding a needle in a haystack. It's more like trying to spot one single predatory fish in an ocean filled with billions of other fish that look almost exactly the same. How does a system tell the difference before it's too late?
Well, the answer is something called a Cognitive Security Operations Console. And look, don't worry about the fancy name. Think of it less like a simple spam filter and more like a high-tech mission control. It's this incredible combination of a whole team of specialized AIs working together, side by side, with the critical judgment of a human expert. It's a true partnership between machine speed and human intuition.
Okay, so let's step onto that battlefield. We're going inside what the pros call a Security Operations Center, or a SOC. And in here, the #1 rule is that every single email, every piece of data, is treated as a potential Trojan horse. So, our story today begins the same way thousands of real-world cyber attacks do, with a single email. But you can forget about those sloppy, misspelled messages from a foreign prince. No, this is a clever, carefully crafted attack designed to look like a totally normal and very urgent invoice. I mean, just look at this thing. At first glance, it seems completely legit. The subject line is screaming urgency. The sender's address looks plausible. The body is pushing you hard to click that link. But the danger is hiding in plain sight. That link is masked, so you have no idea where it's really taking you. And the sender's domain? Yeah, a quick check shows it was registered last week. That's a huge, huge red flag. So, this clever email has made it past the outer walls and is now inside the network. Its very first stop is the system's automated sentinel. You can think of this as the digital guard at the front gate. This is where the machine analysis kicks off. Now, our little threat here is about to be put through the ringer. It's not just one scan, it's a whole pipeline. First, it gets a super fast check by the sentinel. If anything looks fishy, it gets escalated to the AI-powered cognitive core for a deep dive. Then it runs through a few other checks, and only if there's still a question mark does it land in front of a human for that final verdict. And there it is, popping up in the system log. The email has officially been ingested. From this exact moment, the clock is ticking, and the entire ShieldOS pipeline roars to life. The Sentinel agent does its thing in milliseconds. It uses heuristics, which is basically a fancy term for rules of thumb, to spot things that look suspicious. It doesn't see a confirmed virus, but it sees enough little red flags to give the email a risk score of 35. So it's suspicious, but not definitively evil yet. And that score, 35, is just enough. It crosses a line that's been preset in the system, and that automatically triggers an escalation. The simple guard at the gate knows this one is above its pay grade. It's time to call in the specialists. The threat now gets kicked up the chain to the cognitive core. And let's be clear, this is not just another scanner. This is the multi-agent AI, the real brains of the whole ShieldOS system. It's designed to handle exactly these kinds of tricky, ambiguous threats. This is where the really deep analysis happens. The core isn't just checking a list of bad websites. No way. It's actually analyzing the email's language, looking for psychological manipulation like false urgency. It's cross-referencing the sender's entire history. It's even smart enough to use external tools, like using Google to find out that the domain verifiedpartnerbilling.com has zero legitimate history. It's not just matching patterns, it's thinking. So after that deep dive, the cognitive core comes back with its final assessment, a risk score of 68 out of 100. Now that's high risk. That is definitely in the danger zone. But, and this is the crucial part, it's not 100. The AI is pretty darn sure this is a threat, but it's not absolutely certain. And this right here is maybe the most important feature in the whole system. When it gets to a critical gray area like this, the machine doesn't just guess. It deliberately hits pause on the whole automated process and flags the event for a human to review. It's designed to know its own limits. This brings us to the climax of our little story. Technology has done everything it can. It's gathered the data, it's run the analysis, it's provided all the context. But now, a human operator has to step in and make that final critical call.
So put yourself in the operator's seat. It's a real dilemma. On one hand, the AI is waving a bunch of red flags, the manipulative language, that sketchy masked URL. But on the other hand, the domain is technically real, and the attachment isn't on any known malware blacklists. So what do? Do you block it and risk disrupting business, or do you let it through and risk a total disaster? The operator looks at all the evidence. They see the AI's high-risk score, they factor in their own experience from seeing thousands of attacks just like this one, and they make the call. It's a block.
And that's the final entry in the log. Threat confirmed, blocked, neutralized. The partnership worked exactly the way it's supposed to. The AI did the detection and the escalation, and the human provided that final definitive judgment.
So that was the entire life story of a single malicious email. But that's just one tiny skirmish in a much, much larger war. A system like ShieldOS is so much more than just an email scanner. When you look at the system's full arsenal, you really get the picture. What we just saw was just one tiny part of a much bigger machine. This console also has network monitors, vulnerability scanners, a full digital forensics lab, access controls. I mean, it is a complete integrated suite of defenses. And that's really the key takeaway here. Modern security isn't about finding one single magic tool. It's about building a comprehensive security posture, where intelligence from one area automatically informs the defenses in another. It creates a system that is constantly learning and constantly adapting. Which leaves us with a final, fascinating thought. As AI gets more and more powerful, providing this incredible shield that can stop 99% of all threats, what happens to that last 1%? You know, the ambiguous cases, the brand new attacks? That's where human intuition comes in. It seems that for the foreseeable future, even if the machine is the shield, the human operator, they're still the final guardian.